Have you checked the news, Donald? There's a virus going around.
Oh, yeah?
A writing virus.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.
This story killer virus targets the computers of unsuspecting writers and irrevocably corrupts their stories, either deleting the files entirely, rendering them uneditable, or turning them into a bunch of unreadable garbage. It's spreading like wildfire, or those viral videos about cats and underpants. And it's only a matter of time before every writer's computer is exposed.
Oh, wow, that sounds awful. I like my stories. I don't want them corrupted. What do I do to stop my computer from getting this virus?
Oh, it's so simple. This week, we at the Ritwit have teamed up with the Writing Health Organization to encourage every writer to get the Story Killer Virus Protection Program, a free, easy-to-use program that you download onto your device and, after a week or so of installing all the necessary files, keeps your computer safe from the Story Killer virus.
Really? Completely safe.
Well, you should still be careful with what websites you browse and maybe take a few minor extra precautions, but the protection program keeps your stories from being corrupted. Even if your computer does get the virus, with the protection program, your stories will almost certainly remain completely intact.
I don't know. It seems like this protection program came awfully fast. I don't know if I trust it.
Trust it? Why wouldn't you trust it?
Well, what are the side effects to my computer? What if it downloads something bad onto my computer that none of us know about?
You mean other than the Story Killer virus that we do know about?
I don't know. It seems awfully fishy. I think I'll take my chances.
Donald, you seriously won't download this free and easy-to-use protection program to keep your story safe just because you're a little suspicious of the software? You know this is a real virus, right? We have a lot of writer friends who have lost their stories to this thing already.
Yeah, I know, and it's a tragic loss.
But what?
I don't know. I don't believe in this protection program. I trust my computer's antivirus software.
You're really gonna take that chance?
How bad could it be?
You could lose all of your stories. Megazoic, Teslanauts, Wildlife of Tomorrow 1, 2, and 3.
3?
Oh, don't insult me. We both know it's in the planning stages. Point is, you could lose all of it because you're not downloading this safe and easy protection program. You know it works. You've seen it work. Our other writer friends have it working with no problem. Top-notch computer scientists have approved this program the world over.
Yeah, but I saw a YouTube video that reaffirmed my preconceived expectations, so I believe that more than any top-notch computer scientist.
I almost forgot another side effect. If your computer catches this virus, then there's a chance a semi-automatic Magnum pistol bursts out of your computer screen and shoots you in the head.
Oh, jeez, that's awful. But you say it's only a chance, though, right?
Yeah, like a 1 in 100 chance, but it's still there.
1 in 100? Oh, man, you had me worried about that. That's nothing. I think I'll take my chances.
Well, there's also a 1 in 5 chance it shoots you in the balls, meaning while you technically survive, you take incredible damage and aren't really ever the same anymore. But you live, so that's something?
Yeah, that is something. That's a 4 out of 5 chance of no pistol at all. I've got this, David. I don't need any story killer virus protection program. You can't make me get it.
Donald, you're being ridiculous. You're gonna lose all your stories.
Yeah, but freedom!
Freedom?
I don't know. It sounded good in my head.
Well, for all the listeners who aren't stubborn ignoramuses, get yourself the Story Killer Virus Protection Program for free from the Writer Health Organization's website. We can stop this virus together.
Don't let him manipulate you, you sheep! Think for yourselves!
And ads over. Oh boy, that pandemic out there is getting kind of scary. You got vaccinated, didn't you, Donald?
Of course I got vaccinated. I'm not an idiot. Welcome, fellow nerds, to another episode of The Ritwit, the show where one of the hosts was talking to a coworker about their majors in college, and when this host revealed that they were an English major, their coworker's immediate response was, "Oh no, I'm so sorry."
Is this where I bring up the park bench joke, as if we haven't done that like 17 times?
Well, how many times have you said, "Everyone loves boobs" before? So throw the park bench joke.
All right, I'll throw the park. So what's the difference between an English major and a park bench?
I don't know, what?
One can support a family of 4.
Which one? Not the park bench, right?
No.
Right? Right?
Why do you think she was saying sorry to you? Come on.
She's just a business major, you pleb. You mainstream pleb.
Welcome back, listeners. We're
yeah.
in a new set.
Sorry about the wait, by the way. There was a bit of a mix-up. I mean, we're at the point where we're doing a week break between between episodes anyway. Between sets of episodes. I can talk. Okay.
Sure you can. You can slow down. It'll help.
Yeah.
I promise.
My mind just moves so fast.
Yes, I know the feeling. But it means you're more likely to trip over.
Yeah, no, I know. Believe me, this is a problem I've dealt with my whole life. But anyways.
So, yeah, we're back with a new set. Apologies for the extra delay there. Hopefully we won't run into any more unexpected delays, but we
what's that? Is that a meteor falling down? It's gonna hit the recording studio. We gotta find a new one, quick!
We do ask your patience because obviously life happens. As I've mentioned last couple of episode sets, I've been looking for a job, and things just get busy, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
I have counting this as a job, which I guess I do make money off of it. So
yeah, that's fair.
I have 4 jobs, so
yeah, busy.
Yep.
And life kind of gets to us sometimes. I mean, you can't plan for things. I mean, we had to do this now because as of recording time, I'm leaving in less than a week to go to a friend's wedding. So
yep. Ooh, who's getting married?
Family friend of ours from long back in the California days, and she is finally getting married. But we're going out to Virginia.
Finally, how old is she? 40?
No, not quite there. She's in her late 30s.
Oh, there's still time for us.
Yeah, there's still time. But we're going out there to spend time with the family because we've known them for years, and we'll be there for the wedding and stay a little bit extra. Both ends of the trip, so
that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Here's a bit of a life lesson, listeners. I was feeling a bit down one day, and so I decided to Google advice for like how to cope with being single in your 30s. And so as I was typing this into Google, the predictive text, first one was 30s, the second one was 50s. There's time, listeners. There's always time.
We're not guaranteed tomorrow, but whatever time you have, you always have. All right.
Anyways.
We're in a new set, so we got to start with the usual things.
I was going to say, there's time, so we got to rip the Band-Aid off as we can. And speaking of ripping off.
What will we rip off from this month? Yeah. Donald, you have the pleasure of going first this time.
Thank you very much. Speaking of ripping off, if you find someone, you can rip off your clothes, right? No.
So many comments I could make, but that's all right. We'll move on. What you got?
I've recently been introduced to this really fun reality show, competition show, Holy Moly on ABC. And speaking of holes, no, I'm just
kidding. This is spelled with an extra E in the middle.
Yes.
For reasons that will be immediately obvious.
Which is best described as mini golf meets Wipeout.
That's why.
Contestants have to putt across several themed holes that are incredibly creative. Like one themed around Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory, where the contestants have bands on their wrists and ankles, and every time they miss a shot, they get zapped by Dr. Frankenstein.
No pressure.
Yeah. And it's like, they always make it like there's like a guy in a costume that's just like, and
gleefully throwing the switch
down. And like all the lights around the studio where the hosts are, like, whoa, they're all going in and out. And it's pretty funny. The hosts are hilarious too.
I imagine.
And also, like, one of the reasons like Wipeout too is like the first a lot of the holes you do one initial putt, and then you have to go across an obstacle course that if you fall, it goes
to do an obstacle course just to get to your ball.
Well, it's like a one obstacle really. It's more like. But and often like you'll fall into the water or a ball pit or something, and if you do fall, it's a stroke penalty. So.
No pressure at all.
So the people who get it through without falling, they got an advantage.
They usually win. Yeah.
So that sometimes they don't though. Sometimes
like that particular hole, I suppose, over the course of the.
Well, no. Sometimes the other person really screws up, and like even if they it's pretty good. So.
Fair enough.
Anyways, and they got quite the characters in terms of contestants. A lot of times I'm like, with these reality shows, I'm like, are they deliberately playing it up to make it more interesting? Because like, how much of this is really written? Because like sometimes they're like they want to have characters or contestants that you kind of root against. And
you gotta have a heel.
Root for, yeah. And even though it's a reality competition show, I'm sure a lot of it's written.
Well, and for what it's worth, there are apparently fishing shows on TV. The only reason I know this is because a comedian had a set about it and said, you watch the credits and there is writer. I'm just like, oh my God, what is there to write? You get the fish on the line and all of a sudden you reel it in. It's like, Sir, you have a line there. Oh, I caught this fish. She's a beauty.
You catch the fish, and then you're like, excuse me, Mr. Fish. And the script clearly says you fought off the fisher and swam away, and the fish is just hanging there dead because it's a fish that just got fished. So, anyways, but like also, yeah, like some of these contestants, like there was one, this cringiest person ever. She was a blonde 40-something single person who had a bunch of cats and loved to twerk. She did it
can start getting
all the time, and it was
just like between strokes. She's just sitting over there twerking.
Well, no, just every time she does a good, she like does like this. Watching the show, a friend of the show, Christina, we were talking about like why this twerk, despite being quote unquote sexy, is like the most unsexy cringe dance. And one of the reasons why is because it's like so riggedy. It's like the robot, I like smooth dances where you just kind of contort, around like a snake, like.
Oh boy.
Anyways, another hole was themed around dragons, where contestants wear fireproof armor and must putt while dragon heads breathe actual fire on them, and then you try to put the ball through the tiny hole in the castle gates. The host said the alternative name for this hole was lawsuit hole.
Yeah, I wonder why. Good grief.
Or one that's basically a 10-foot straight putt, except there's a huge loud distraction around them that's different every time it comes up.
Oh, no.
Sometimes it's a bunch of handsome and ripped shirtless guys dancing and thrusting about. Sometimes it's a marching band with a musician banging a cymbal a foot away from the golfer. Sometimes it's a faux baseball thing where the pitcher is right next to the golfer while throwing pitches at the hitter and the catcher that are just behind the hole.
Hold on, I gotta make my putt, and you get hit with a line drive in the face. Ouch.
Well, no, because the pitcher's throwing it toward the direction
toward the hole.
Yeah,
which means the hitter is swinging right back towards the golfer.
Right. Oh, no, the hitter intentionally misses.
Oh.
I think that I'm assuming when watching this, I'm assuming the hitter intentionally misses every time. So I don't know how it works. I mean, at least I never saw them hitting it. So
fair enough.
Okay. But it's very fun and very creative.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they had a new hole this season called Puttasaurus that I really appreciated.
Gee, I wonder why.
Well, it's just, I like a good mini golf
Something
hole.
in the name, yeah.
Yeah, I like putts. I like a good putt. I like big putts, and I cannot lie. Anyway,
Wit, come for the wit, stay for the devolvement.
Speaking of which, there is another hole called Uranus, where they make so many different jokes, where you have to go around the rings of Uranus.
They're like
Uranus is the best hole in the course, is what they say.
They're contractually obligated to make every possible joke.
It's like, man, they are lighting it up on Uranus. There's another hole called the Pecker, where they have like a giant woodpecker they gotta hop on after they do the hole, and then like grab something off of the tip of its crest before falling out. And they're like, man, that's the biggest pecker I've ever seen. Grab the tip of that pecker. Just go watch Holy Moly, guys. It's the last two seasons are on Hulu. The first season is not, which makes me sad, but and it's still going too. So.
Fair enough. I could see why an idea like that would be fairly renewable.
Anyways, what I like to rip off of it, though, is like taking something that's as pedestrian and as kind of simple as mini golf, and then just adding a bunch of twists and creative stuff on it to make a unique and entertaining piece of work. Like one of my ideas, and this seems like a weird thing to use Holy Moly to rip off of, one of my ideas I have in the back burner is about geologists. Like, how do I make that cool? Make that twists and other stuff. And I have an idea. It's like, it's sci-fi about geologists, and they fight like monsters that are made of quartz. The quartz monsters are the hardest ones because quartz is the hardest metal, or like other stuff in the mantle. I don't know. I think it'd be fun. And I could use Holy Moly as an example to be like, take this sort of pedestrian thing that people don't find that exciting or fun, and make it exciting and fun by being creative and inventive. That kind of thing. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, that's what I got. What about you?
All right. Well, I've been getting to some things a little bit lower down on my priority lists to watch, and while they are certainly inspired by Japanese media, all of them actually come from other countries.
Mm.
The first one that I want to rip off is a design choice from the Chinese production Armor Hero. at their waists. All the warriors have a belt.
Armor Hero, isn't that the bootleg version of Iron Man on the toys you see on? I don't know,
Possibly, but
yeah.
no, this is its own independent show.
Okay.
They had a belt that had like spinners on the side. You twist the fidget one way, get a weapon out, and the opposite direction yields a different weapon.
That's
Twist
cool.
the opposite fidget, you prepare a finishing attack.
So it's like you hold it overhanded, and you got like a long sword. You hold underhanded, you got like a dagger or something.
No, so the fidget is literally at their waist, and they spin it, and then materialization comes where the weapon shows up.
Oh, that's cool. Then
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you have, I mean, as many tongs, I'll call them tongs because that's kind of what they look like, as you have, that's as many options as you can get.
Okay.
Armor heroes, they all had like plus shapes mounted as fidgets. So there's a hypothetical maximum that they didn't even use that existed.
Okay.
But it'd be fun to do that and spare, storage on our already unrealistic armor suits, right?
I just like spin the wheel and be like, what am I getting today?
Well, you probably know based on how you spin it.
It's not quite like the Wheel of Fortune.
No, it's not. It's not quite like spinning on The Price is Right either. You literally you just adjust it in the plus shape, so you do it 90 degrees and then something comes out.
So if it's 90 degrees, you only have 4 options then.
Yeah, I mean there were 4 tongs, right?
Yeah.
As a plus.
Come on, we could work with 8.
But you have 1 on each side, so you've got
you said
4 different weapons. You've got maybe 2 weapons and 2 arsenal pieces, and you've got 4 different attacks or whatever combination because you have 2 spinners, so you have a total of 8 possibilities.
As well as like on a fun action show, this sounds like it'd be really fun in a video game or like a laser tag place. Like do 4 different things, like different laser. I don't know what the laser would do.
You could change the color of your laser and trick
Oh
people.
my god, that'd be so cool! I want nothing. I never realized it until now, but I've always dreamed of that. Of having. So everyone has green lasers. I've got a red laser.
Well, I mean, when you pick up your pack in the laser tag places, you always are.
Isn't
on
your
a
armor
team,
usually
right?
a different color rather than the laser?
Right, your armor's a color, so it's obvious to somebody when they run across you in the dark hallway that you're on the team that they're on or not.
Yeah.
But like changing the thing on your armor just by spinning. That'd be
I've
too broken.
defected.
That'd be too broken, but it'd be really funny.
My team's doing terribly. I'm gonna change to the red team.
No, well, what I would use it for most frequently, I think, is like a sneak attack. You walk in, Trojan horse deal. You turn your vest color. You walk in and you just start blasting people, and the gun still registers it for your actual team. And then you walk out, and people are like, "What the heck, man?" You switch your color
It's like
back.
the spy in Team Fortress 2. But
There were multiple ideas that made me stop the next show that I'm going to talk about while I was watching the episodes to type down as a note for later. The one I'll bring up today is a character type that I'm eager to use somewhere.
Oh.
Now, the show is called Ultraman Towards the Future. It was actually produced in Australia.
Okay.
The defense team has a commander who's so crotchety that it must hurt to smile, and he rips into his team all the time.
Oh, that sounds fun. So
But when the chips are down, the bond of trust and belief in them shows as he proves how much he cares for them.
So like the sort of hard ass general that like proves, oh yeah, I actually do. Yeah. Okay, that could be fun.
I want to make a leader who doesn't ever show affection for the crew beneath unless they are under duress. And even then, avoid it in the obvious death flag scenario
of
to
course.
keep the veneer.
My idea for a character that's like a general, like a hard-ass general sort of thing. This is an idea I've had for a long time, and I think it'd be really funny. It's like, this would work best if it was like in a hard R-rated movie with like a lot of blood and violence and gore and other ridiculous stuff. That that this movie is just hardcore, and you have this general who's so angry and roars all the time, but every time he shouts, he says the most G-rated swears. And no one knows why. Because again, the movie's a hard R.
There's
There's
a line he obviously refuses
you gosh
to cross.
darn fools! Dang nabbit! Go out there and take those flippin' soldiers down! Flippin' hack! Everyone's like, General, you can't. This is an R-rated movie. You can't swear. What? Shut your face, you stupid head!
My dad used to say that the strongest 4-letter word he commonly used. Ouch.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, but now we're getting into the content of our set, which you can already tell from the title. We are talking about ending characters.
Yes, we are.
This set, and we're gonna go ahead and we'll let this question kind of explain where we're going with this particular episode.
Right.
So here we go.
Well, let's get to the point and finish the arc of the episode, if you know what I mean.
And speaking of which, so You're done with a character
Yes.
for one reason or another.
Yes.
You've written what you've wanted, you clapped your hands together, and you said, enough.
Enough.
This character's got to go.
Just get out of here. Shoot.
The good news is there are multiple ways to write out your character.
Oh.
Some more satisfactory than others, but all of them viable options for the writer.
Yes, of course.
Let's start off with the most satisfying and ideal way to write out a character, by finishing their arc.
Well, that would be ideal, wouldn't you think?
I mean, we're starting with the most satisfying, otherwise it'd probably be the best one to end with because it's finishing, right?
Right.
This can overlap with them
And speaking
dying.
of finish, no.
This can overlap with them dying, by the way, but we'll talk about that in more detail in a later episode. So to start off with a well-worn question, what are the benefits to writing out a character by completing their arc?
Oh, this is such a well-worn question, but it wears it well.
It fits like a glove.
It wears it so well. It's like a suit that you haven't been on since 1972. You put it on and it still fits. Anyways, it gives both the character and your readers a real sense of fulfillment, like the ones that they followed for so long finally get to complete their story and see how it ends, and hopefully through this method they've really earned it. Like sometimes this overlaps with two of the other methods we're going to talk about later in this set.
Skipping the foghorn we already did.
Because it's two, you know.
Oh, okay. But the problem is the sound effect lasts so long. Anyway, go ahead.
Pads out the runtime. Anyways.
Yeah, as if we needed more right now.
Oh, come on, we're doing great. I'm watching the clock. We're good. But often it's a good way to show that you care about the character by giving them proper closure.
Speaking of closure.
Yes.
It gives you control over that closure.
Oh, yeah, that'd be important, too, to control what's going on, yeah.
I mean, unless a writer has completely checked out on doing anything more with the character, they may want to see it through to the end. Hopefully you've been planning some of this since the character hit the page in the first place, because that dovetails with the other goal of your story,
Yes.
moving it forward in a meaningful way.
Oh, yes, of course.
There is an argument that can be made about the epilogue approach, where you, in no unequivocal terms, put an end point on things by being incredibly detailed about what comes after the story's over.
The where are they now epilogue.
I won't say it's the only or even correct way to handle this, but that's one benefit. You leave no doubts about their survival.
Right.
The epilogue approach, I mean.
Well, like...
Heck, most epilogues I know in that vein are frickin' biblical and laying out genealogy.
I just think it's funny that, like, you know, I get when like do like the where they are now thing, when they show the text about what happens to the person afterwards, and I get that when it's like a biopic or something, but when it's a fictional movie, it's weird.
It was kind of interesting, the epilogue approach. I've actually got an epilogue already written up for Shattered Creek. What happens with the characters after the 3 books are over.
The 3 books, and you finished book 1, and
I finished book 1,
and you finished that one scene in book 2, right?
No, I finished the scene in book 1 that kept it from being complete.
Okay, so
but I mostly have book 2 done, and I have a plot line figured out for book 3.
And then the Shattered Saga will finally be complete.
Well, complete,
it'll be put together.
It'll be repaired anyway.
Shattered, more like repair.
Anyways, so I have that epilogue, and while I wasn't biblical, like, oh, and these two had this kid, and that went on to have
like
17
those Icelandic
grandchildren.
family sagas.
There is one note that I just could not resist, and this is me giving into my delusions, but in the end, one of the descendants of one couple ends up marrying a descendant of the other couple, so they're literally tied into the same family.
Oh, that's nice. That'd be nice.
I mean,
that's always nice when characters that, like, become each other's found family also become literal family.
Yeah.
Like how at the end of Harry Potter, the 3 of them are all kind of related.
They are literally related by marriage. Yeah,
exactly.
That's I mean, while I think that Hermione and Harry might have been a better couple, and J.K. Rowling is kind of acknowledged.
We've talked about this before. Like, I don't know if I buy the Harry and Hermione.
They end in the same family the way it ended up.
Right, exactly.
So I appreciate
I don't
that.
mind Harry and Ginny, or I
don't mind them, but I also think Hermione Ron is strange.
Yeah, that is strange. I think Harry and Hermione also is strange too, but in a different way. But I don't buy Ron and Hermione. You know.
Anyway, the way it ended, they ended up in the same family, so that was really freaking cool.
That is cool.
However, we're gonna move on to the next question. What constitutes a character's arc being completed versus just another day for them in the narrative? And how can that go into writing them out?
If some goal they've been trying to achieve for a long time has finally been completed, whether in the way they initially wanted to or not, that's usually a pretty good notifier that their arc is completed. Like the "Nobody calls me chicken" from the Back to the Future sequels that eventually is like, he's an asshole, I don't care what he calls me. Anyways, now, of course, it doesn't necessarily have to be so grand. It could be that their arc is to get over something or someone, like being called chicken, or to learn a lesson, or
to take being called chicken.
or in the West, are you yellow?
Yellow-bellied.
Yeah. Gutless, yellow-bellied. I love
Yellow-livered swine. Anyway,
love they look at these shoes like Nikki.
I feel like you're completing a thought here.
But I want to save the joke. They look at his shoes and they're like, Nikki, what is that? Some engine level? Anyway, so.
Just do it.
Okay, I will do it, but I know what you're doing. So, all right, but in order to for an arc to be completed, rather than just something small, it does have to be something significant,
like merely taking a cookie out of the jar.
Yeah, not quite that.
Usually, the mundane tasks in life don't constitute an entire arc for your character. So, giving the cathartic moment itself some gravitas, showcasing why it's important, that can really differentiate it from a rank-and-file day-in-the-life kind of moment. I guess we were both saying that it should feel more weighty than just another moment.
Right.
And that stands to reason if the character is going to go unused after this accomplishment.
Yes, exactly.
It's way more satisfying for that character, and for the readers who became attached to them.
The set is about being written out, so you'd like to think the characters can be unused from this point onwards.
I think if everyone had their choice, they'd prefer going out with a bang over a whimper. Not that all people get so lucky, if any listeners are familiar with the typical career arc of a star athlete.
Well, I was going to say, I like to go out with both a bang and a whimper. I bang so hard they whimper.
He only makes these jokes because he otherwise wouldn't do anything.
I'm so alone.
Are there means available where completing the arc of a character doesn't feel fulfilling to the remaining cast, and possible extension of the question how best to use such devices?
Well, like if the character's arc completion means bad things for the other character, like such as the villain not liking it when the hero defeats them.
What a weird idea.
Yeah. And a less simple example, maybe the character's arc is learning how to get over his love when she's clearly in love with someone else.
You love him enough to let him go.
Yep, that is always how it is. Oh, man. Or maybe it's a self-serving sort of character whose arc culminates in a big F the world moment.
Or a self-serving character where you learn the lesson they learned. I had a story where I did that myself.
Well, was it like they say that, like, some people's whole purpose is to teach other people what not to do?
Yeah, there's a comment I can make. I'm sure you've heard it before, so
Yep.
I'll refrain.
Well, you heard the skit for this week, so... Get vaccinated, guys. Anyway.
No, that wasn't what I was going on. I was talking about a person in my life in particular. But anyway,
okay, well, I would ask you to go into details, but no. Maybe on the car ride back home.
I think you've heard enough about it before. You can figure out who I'm referring to.
I don't recall, but anyways, who cares?
Anyway,
so
yeah.
So kind of like in Frozen, in terms of a big F the world moment, where Elsa, after leaving the kingdom in shame, decides to go all out singing "Let It Go" and gives a big F the world moment.
That was a pretty big F the world moment.
Hey, have you seen Frozen? I thought you had.
I've seen the video for the song, but not the rest of the movie.
Okay, I was gonna say because I thought you had.
I know the music from it really well.
I know you've seen Tangled. I thought you said you didn't see Frozen. Okay, you haven't seen.
No, I still haven't seen it.
But you know that on its own it looks cool. But yeah, cool. But I like how
so cool. It's chill.
I like how it took you a second to get it. Still,
you needed extra emphasis on
well,
the
it's
right
because it's
syllable.
like there's no way he could possibly be that dumb. But,
there's no way I could be that cool, obviously. And speaking of cool,
but in the context of the rest of the movie, it's a bigger F the world moment to see like how she's been repressed and like kind of like
everybody's been afraid of her power, and so they locked her.
Well, they
away.
didn't even know she had her power until this point.
Oh, maybe.
So,
well, I think her parents did. But
her parents
were
did.
Dead at that point,
yeah, but
so.
but like her parents were dead, and then trolls wiped the memory so that her sister doesn't know either, and only she knows that she's been kind of like hiding away and hiding from everyone else and not really knowing anything until finally she has a bit of rage and accidentally really shows it off to everyone, and then she runs in hiding, and then she's like, you know what, no hiding anymore, let it go, bitch. And so
let it go, bitch, holding back. Yeah, I can't fit it in there, it doesn't work.
Let it go, bitch, let it go.
This is still a Disney movie. But I mean, I think that's more of a personal climax, but it's not really the climax of the story.
It isn't. It's like it's unfulfilling for it's fulfilling for her in that arc, at least that part of her arc, of not trying to be so repressed anymore and like trying to be proud of who she is. But it's certainly unfulfilling to her sister or the rest of the kingdom that's freezing due to her powers. Like, the movie takes place in the summer, by the way. So
yeah.
But it's not the completion of her entire arc, so I'm not sure if it counts. But it's worth mentioning.
Well, and one thing that's worth talking about, I mentioned the character that I wrote that in a story that I kind of learned the lesson that my character was supposed to learn. It really helped me out with a personal problem. I do want to specify, I think we're more referring to the kind of write-outs that happen before a story is over.
Oh, yes.
Rather than, oh, well, the story's over, of course their arc is finished now.
Yes, of course.
My example falls into the latter camp. So
that's the thing. I was following it more as the former camp. So yeah, what do you got for the latter camp?
Well, no, I mean that's the example I just used was for the latter camp. Like the story's over, therefore the arc must be over, or else it feels really unfulfilling to the readers, right?
Right. But
now,
okay, so what do you got for
back to this? The actual focus of the episode.
Yes.
Any situation in the story where someone achieves their goal at the expense of someone else, you bet it won't sit well with the other characters.
Yes.
If those characters have any focus, so we can see the reaction. Being on a runner-up youth league baseball team isn't a terrible outcome in the grand scheme of things, but boy, howdy, it feels awful not winning. Personal experience, if you couldn't tell.
Yes.
Or say that the aim was fulfilling something to the mission with no guarantee of survival.
Ooh, yeah.
Heroic sacrifices!
Yeah!
And
we'll get to those, too.
And inevitably, should the character not come out okay, I'll be quick to stop leaning on a later episode of the set.
We'll get to that eventually.
The remaining folks will eventually be, I said the wrong word, will usually be highly dissatisfied with the outcome.
Yes, of course.
So feel free to use bittersweet outcomes, where the character leaving manages to get what they want, even though the others may not enjoy it.
Right.
Far more compelling to the audience, especially if the character in question made a connection with the reader.
Well, like a good example of that is like, I guess this is more, actually no, this isn't a good example. This is more like a character's arc being completed isn't fulfilling to the character. But, Phantom of the Opera.
Love that show.
Yes. The arc of the Phantom is completed when he lets Christine go. When he realizes that she wants to be with Raoul, he can't force her. The greatest gift you can give to the one you love is their freedom, and so he lets her go. It completes his arc, and boy, it sucks for him, but he does it. So,
at least if you assume love never dies, never happened.
Which it did not.
I love the songs in that.
I'm
show.
sure the songs are great. Andrew Lloyd's a very talented composer.
His name is properly Lloyd Webber, but anyway.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I think
you said Andrew Lloyd.
And I actually thought in my head I was just saying Andrew Webber. Mr. Leber. Andy Webber. Hey, Andy Webb, how are you?
All right. So, another question here. How can a writer overcome the drudgery of properly ending this, presumably an unwanted, character's arc without being too short?
Well, find out their goal and have them achieve it. That's the easiest answer I can give.
Yeah.
Like, an arc is a goal, and well, not always a goal, but it can be a goal.
It needs to have some shape going towards a goal.
And a goal is also always an arc, I think, if the goal is finished.
If you're talking about soccer, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
The sports references
I was going to say, we talked about so many sports. Hey, did you catch the game last night?
Not yet. No, anyway.
I love it when people say that. And like, what game? What sport? I don't know. Did you see the game last night? Anyways, without it being too short, I don't know, make their goal a bit more complex. Like, don't go straight to the goalie. Do a little swerve flanking motion. Just like,
he totally knows soccer. Can't you tell, listeners?
Striker, halfback, Pele.
Pele is a player's name.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think his soccer knowledge is confined to the things he saw in the movie She's the Man, if I'm not mistaken.
Duke Orsino.
I mean, yeah, I figure their goal has to be one of the things. I mean, it's really quick and dirty, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. But I don't know, just if you don't like it, if the better answer is to find a way to like the character. Like, if you don't like them, your readers probably won't like them either.
Yeah, what were those 8 deadly words again?
I don't care what happens to these people.
No, these people.
Or characters works too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the thing. I think to overcome the drudgery, just without making it too short, but like just do the basic.
Well, I mean,
what you can.
You can try and goose their motives a little bit, like make a goal a little bit harder. They have another obstacle to overcome first.
Right, but I'm just saying,
if you don't want to write them anymore, then they deserve to have the closure that you had planned for them in the first place. And I think that, and that goes into my answer too, that you give them proper due instead of the short shrift.
Right.
I know it's difficult because we change during the writing process. But try to recall why you had this plan for the character.
Yes.
Can you still accomplish that objective without belaboring the point? If not, consider crafting an ending for them that isn't fulfilling to their character either.
Oh, yes.
Ignominious death comes to mind.
that sounds real fulfilling.
No, that sounds real unfulfilling.
No, I know.
If the plan was decent enough, the plan you conceived earlier, the character deserves it. So swallow your pride and play out the string.
Yes.
A sneaky sub-answer to this question, though. Find something you enjoy in pitting this bad, I'll use air quotes, bad character alongside or against the others so that their scenes are still amusing to work on rather than droll.
Well, it's like in Avengers, Joss Whedon hated the Iron Man suit with the triangle reactor.
Oh yeah,
but he still gave it a good run. Like, and he did, and it's like when he had the new suit at the end, it was a circular again. But throughout 2/3 of the movie, he wasn't the triangle reactor, and that's how you do it. It's just like.
Well, I mean, when you talk about finding a way to enjoy the character, you don't have to enjoy them for their own character. You can enjoy them in relation to other characters.
Right, exactly.
And so, like, I really enjoy the bitter arguments that they always seem to get into.
The banter!
With this character that I enjoy writing, bantering against this one I don't care as much for. But that character still stays involved that way, right?
Well, it's like those, again, and to use another example, The Office. The Office is a comedy show. There are some characters that just aren't on their own funny. They're serious and droll and whatever. What makes them funny? What?
Dwight.
No, Dwight's hilarious.
I thought he was really deadpan though.
He can't. No, he's like super serious about certain things, but like I don't. It's just I don't.
I haven't seen as much of.
He
The
can
Office
be
as you
super.
have, obviously.
He can be super goofy, but what I'm talking about is like, what's that guy's name? Stanley, or like.
I didn't know Marvel had Honcho.
Stan Lee, whatever his last name is. Not Stan Lee.
Not Yelnats, that's Holes.
Yeah. Anyway, he's a super serious, droll character, but he's so funny in just how he reacts to everyone else. It's like, in relation to everyone else. He's not a character that would work on his own. There's no Stanley spin-off of The Office planned. So.
Is there really a spin-off of The Office?
No, there's no spin-off of The Office.
I was about to say.
Parks and Rec was actually supposed to be a spin-off.
Of The Office?
Yeah. But then they're like, let's make it its own thing. Yeah.
Huh. Did not know that.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. Well, I think we've managed to
twit ourselves out
about this particular topic.
We've written the good writ.
We fought the good.
Fought the good fit.
That would imply either of us are.
This is what a writer's body really looks like. Come on, drink it in.
Drink it in all its glory.
Yeah.
It's like dad bod on potatoes.
It's got hair on it too, which makes it even better.
I don't know if lady writers would want to claim it has hair on their body too much.
Well, this writer does.
All right. Fair enough. Anyway.
And every last inch of me's covered with hair.
Is that from the newer Beauty and the Beast?
No, it's from the original Beauty and the Beast, too.
Okay.
He even rips his shirt open. You get to see the stubble.
Yeah, he likes showing that off. But anyway.
All right, well.
Is there anything else worth saying about
Nope, I think let's complete this arc of the episode.
This one episode. We still got the rest of the set to do.
Well, this is the sub-arc, and then the whole arc is coming. All right, well, a huge thank you to all our patrons so far, including Christina E.
Your support means the world to us,
yes.
And we're able to keep doing this in part because of in part of the contributions that you make. So
we've gotten quite a few, new patron. Well, not quite a few for us, relatively. Quite a few.
There is that.
The percentage of patrons we've gotten has risen dramatically. So, Yep, you can. If you want to contact us, you can contact us at mattd@matthewdoncareer.com for any general questions to either co-host.
If you want to get in touch with one of us specifically, please use David or Donald.
Yep.
If you'd like us to share your contact on the air, not your contact information. We won't give out your email address.
Want,
but like, if
I'm collecting social
the
security numbers, guys.
contents-
Don't want
the
that's it's a private
contents
project of mine.
of your message. If you'd like us to share those, please let us know. We do
Right.
try and respect your privacy.
Yes. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Matthew Don Creator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. Why 64? Because that's how many books I'm planning to write in my lifetime.
Oh yeah, 64. You're gonna stop there?
Yep, and about 50 of those are attempts at Megazoic.
Oh, so you're already more than part way to that.
It's got to be perfect, David. Perfect.
Even though it's already available for print and Kindle.
It's
buy it
not
on Amazon.com.
quite perfect yet.
It is already available, so
It
you
is.
should
Buy
go
on
check it out.
Amazon.com. Ding. All right. Well, that's it for this week.
Thanks for listening to the Ritwit, the show where us two twits have twitted ourselves out.
Yep.
about-
Keep writing the good writ.
keep
Written
writing
the good
writ.
rights.
Keep writing the good right and keep reading the good
I
writ.
did. I
think
mixed
is-
it up. All right.
That's probably why.
Be
Anyway,
safe. Wear a mask now because the Delta variant's a thing. And get vaccinated. All right.
I find it hilarious that the Delta variant came before the Gamma variant. They do not know their Greek alphabet order.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the
I'm just waiting for Omega.
I was going to say the Omega variant.
Because then what do they do?
Full-on zombie apocalypse by that point. All right. Anyways, bye.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, wait. I'm David.
I'm Donald.
Bye.
They're already gone, David. They have no idea who we are.
The Ridway Podcast.
There's a virus going around.
Oh, yeah?
A writing virus.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that.